Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game. This is going to be LabyRinth versus Chaemiko, taking place here on Echo Isle. A 1v1 matchup, a ladder matchup. Hopefully it does not disappoint as things are getting underway. On the top left-hand side of the map, we have Chaemiko spawning as the blue human player, going up against, I guess, LabyRinth? If I stumble and say Labyrinth, well, I guess Y says yeah, I, E, so labyrinth, labyrinth. All in all, a difficult name to pronounce, labyrinth or labyrinth. I don't know. Trying to know how different sounds come across from different languages. Is it sounding how it is phonetically spelled, or is there like a Korean twist on it? Anyways, Chaemiko spawning as the blue human on the top left. Meanwhile, we have undead LabyRinth spawning as the teal undead on the top right. We are going to be looking at most likely I'm going to guess a Death Knight here, but it could be a Crypt Lord. Nope, Death Knight it is. So is it a tale as old as time? It is not. It is not the tale as old as time. Archmage versus Death Knight. No, Chaemiko actually opening up with a Paladin first. Now, Paladin first, often very interesting indeed. It does give Devotion Aura, and, well, I've often said Devotion Aura is perhaps one of the weakest auras out of all of the games here. Yes, it does offer a little bit of protection. That additional armor is helpful, but, well, if you look at all of the other auras, well, Devotion Aura is only helpful when your units are taking damage. Endurance Aura, faster attack speed, faster movement speed, both work out very well. If you look at Django of Endurance or any sort of attack damage, units are often constantly attacking, but they're not always absorbing damage here. Anyways, let's take a look back at Chaemiko opening things up, trying to clear out this mercenary creep camp. Now going after all of these units with a help of militia as well. I don't see a lightning shield go down as of yet, as we see a little bit of damage being absorbed by that Forest Troll Shadow Priest. Meanwhile, Chaemiko already using 2 Holy Lights to save a number of units there, trying to save those low hit point footmen. Going to be able to do exactly that, as that footman now looks to back away. All right, Devotion Aura is going to be that follow-up ability right there. Devotion Aura does give bonus armor, effectively 12% more effective hit points. But then again, oftentimes, well, the armor of a unit doesn't matter when you're going up against a magic spell damage. Death Coil, Frost Nova, all of those things still do a flat base amount, and that's one of the reasons why I personally do not like Devotion Aura. Although it is very helpful, we'll see whether or not it makes a big impact in this game. Early on, though, having that Devotion Aura means that the units do not need to be healed nearly as much, as we are already wandering around with that Paladin. Down to the south here, Paladin is going to finish off that skeletal minion. It does, and now looking to perhaps set up an expansion down to the south here. Meanwhile, LabyRinth has already set up his expansion as well, getting up a haunted gold mine and establishing a Nerubian tower now that that Ziggurat is done. No text to tier 2, not surprising, as it does cost a good amount of gold in order, and a good amount of workers to try and set up expansions, which seems to be the play that both sides want to do. Town Hall is going to be sped built. We are looking now at a scout tower being added in. Meanwhile, Death Knight now wandering around here, and this is an actually interesting situation for LabyRinth to be in. That Holy Light is an instantaneous spell that does 200 damage. Meanwhile, the Death Knight's Death Coil is a missile 200 damage or a 400 missile heal for friendly units. With all of that said and done, well, oftentimes a well-timed Holy Light can finish off a unit that's about to be Death Coiled if the unit is too far away from that Death Knight. Now, Paladin looking to finish off the remainder of these Murlocs here. A lot of poison damage spread across multiple units. Gonna make it difficult for that Forest Troll Shadow Priest to heal up all of these units here, as well it may feel like it's constantly being forced to try and heal up a unit or two. Skeletal Minion getting taken down. Paladin already a good ways to level 4, as we can see Chaemiko using that line of sight around these trees to perhaps see if the ghouls were going to be trying to make their way across. Now, Death Knight could be in a little bit of trouble. Takes a Holy Light onto the Death Knight, already down to 500 hit points, exchanging for a Death Coil, but the Paladin has a bit more hit points and also regenerates more hit points off constantly, even if he isn't on Blight. Death Knight now making its way back off to the north here, does have that Unholy Aura, that slightly faster movement speed, and here we are going into an engagement. That Paladin just nuking that Death Knight as though it is some sort of Mountain King, just trying to constantly bash down damage, as the Death Knight now getting healed up by that Forest Troll Shadow Priest here. We could be looking at getting more mercenaries as well, both sides, recovering from those early engagements against each other, as the Paladin now looks to back up. That Forest Troll Berserker could be a priority target, as it cannot be healed. As long as the Footmen have defend, they can perhaps try and dive in onto that unit there. Forest Troll Berserker now trying to retreat back here. Paladin already diving across here. No defend. There's a Holy Light taking down one Acolyte. The Detective Tier 2 has just started, so this is going to be a commanding loss of, Acolytes here and a loss of gold. Footman could end up getting taken down. There's a Holy Light trying to finish off. Takes down a Skeletal Minion. Not quite sure if that was the target that he really wanted. He wants to get off one more Holy Light, but the timing on it just not working out well, as Death Coil finishes off another Footman there. Back on the bottom left-hand side, we can see a Blacksmith now being added here. Scroll of Regeneration, Clarity Potion being used. Also bought up a follow-up Scroll of Regeneration and Clarity Potion. The Forest Troll Berserker and Forest Troll Shadow Priest were not in that Gambit maneuver. They were purposely pulled out of the fight and already walking back home before the start of that battle. Chaemiko looking to perhaps clean up the remainder of some of these units here, and Paladin sitting at 3.5. Meanwhile, Footmen now wandering across. The armies are, significantly in favor for LabyRinth, who has a 43 to 34 supply advantage. Holy Light quickly snipes down one ghoul right there, as the Death Knight did not have time to react or respond. Now going after that Forest Troll Shadow Priest. There's two of them, so they can heal each other if necessary, or heal themselves, as the units are now trying to retreat back. All right, how much damage can be had? Death Coil, Death Coil, Crypt Fiend Shot, and a Forest Troll Shadow Priest damage. More than enough right there, as the Paladin could be in a bad situation. Trying to go after this Forest Troll Shadow Priest. 2 shots should finish it, or, maybe 2 shots now would finish it, as the one more shot should finish it right there. Are we going to get the Cold Tower onto the new, onto that unit's Staff of Teleportation to retreat back out and able to head back home? With all of that said and done, Footman, Scroll of Regeneration used, not much to heal on that Footman either. Perhaps should have used it a little bit earlier, as we are getting now into weapon upgrades and going into dual racks with Riflemen. So this unkillable army strategy, often very, very powerful, and a level 2 devotion aura will be, quite difficult to overcome. Paladin takes a little bit of damage, loses the Scroll of Regeneration, and now heads back off to the north, trying to do a little bit of a dance. Now, we are looking at more farms being placed down here. I don't believe, no masonry upgrades yet, and none to be seen, as we are at Keep. And, we are looking now at that long-range Rifleman attack upgrade. All right, Riflemen only have 400 range at their base level, but it does go up a 50% increase up to 600 with those long-range, longer barrels on their rifles. Coming back through, though, we are looking at an army that is pretty immune to any sort of, or not immune, resistant to any sort of that piercing attack. We do see that LabyRinth, that Forest Troll Shadow Priest could end up getting taken down pretty quickly, as the units are still trying to regroup across the map. Lich out on the battlefield. Still no sign of a second hero. Paladin is the lone hero right now, as we see a rifle. Well, we'll see some units getting constantly body blocked here. This narrow passageway from that tree gonna end up being the death of a Forest Troll Berserker, perhaps, as the units are now trying to retreat back. Death Knight, final shot off, could get the Death Coil, and it takes it down. Meanwhile, Rifleman gonna get a Forest Troll Shadow Priest in the crossfire as the Paladin continues to fight back across here. All right, damage racking up on both sides. Is going to be able to finish off this Crypt Fiend. Crypt Fiend down to 241. There's one Holy Light, but that's not enough. Death Knight going to deliver a Death Coil, healing up that Crypt Fiend back up to 406 hit points. LabyRinth doing a great job there with the micro. Meanwhile, a lot of poison damage across human units. Going to take some damage over time. Clustered units taking a Frost Nova. And, well, things are going from bad to worse for Chaemiko. Scroll of Healing now being used across multiple units again. 50 supply compared to 58. Chaemiko does have a bit of a supply advantage, but is unable to really capitalize on it, as his army, it may be just a little bit smaller. Holy Light trying to finish off more units. 2 Crypt Fiends get taken down in a moment, and now suddenly the supply advantage greatly in favor of Chaemiko as a Holy Light takes down another Crypt Fiend. Paladin really working hard here. Great armor on that Paladin. 3.5 additional armor for all of those riflemen. Essentially 20% more effective hit points at this point and stage in the game. Now, the question is often, what will the Paladin go for that level 3 ability? Also, adding in a Blood Mage as a second hero to act as that mana battery. Constantly giving mana to the Paladin works out well, as the Paladin can then, well, transfer mana and turn it into hit points rather effectively there. Siphon mana, quickly destroying that illusion, as there is no mana to really siphon. Taking down that Forest Troll Berserker as well. Meanwhile, the Lich and the Dark Ranger now looking to level up, as there is a third and final hero. The silence on that Dark Ranger could spell problems overall if there needs to be a way to try and break that quote-unquote link. Trying to finish off some more of those Murlocs there. Murlocs getting taken down pretty easily. All right, narrow passageway fighting, but anyone who has range will end up winning. You would think that the Rifleman would win there, but Death Coil, Frost Nova showing how powerful their abilities are, hitting beyond the trees and also through the trees, as the Death Coil just seemed to pop up out of nowhere. Great shots. I don't know, being able to hit a target because one of your friends can see it even though you can't. A great ability, I guess. Meanwhile, the Dark Ranger now going to dive on in, absorbing a lot of Arcane Tower damage. Is it going to go ahead and retarget onto the Death Knight? It will. Death Knight now losing a lot of mana. There's a quick Dispel Magic, taking down some of those skeletal minions. The Arcane Tower is now gone, but Scroll of Town Portal in order to try and get a very tactical retreat back out of that, well, rather dangerous situation. 1 or 2 0 upgrades for those riflemen, coupled with Devotion Aura, essentially having 2 upgrades overall. Not quite sure why you wouldn't go for the armor upgrades. There we are, getting in that additional armor upgrades for those riflemen, as the riflemen want to be able to stick around and stay alive just a little bit longer. Footmen could easily get taken down there. No, denied. Not quite sure why you would deny that little bit of damage, as the Paladin now just shy of level 5. Blood Mage is sitting at level 2, could try to go for Flame Strike, has double circlets of nobility. Nope, opts to go for Banish instead. So Banish coupled with Holy Light could in fact deal quite a bit of damage. There's that Siphon mana pretty much returning to nothing. All right, Paladin, is it going to get in some hit points? I wonder what happens if you do Siphon Life on an illusion. Do you actually get hit points off of... You first you'd have to find a Dark Ranger that actually uses Siphon Life. And then from there, you have to see whether or not if it actually targets a hero to try and pull those hit points. Anyways, coming back around, or any other illusion, I guess. Paladin now trying to make its way back down here. There is a lot of riflemen, footmen, or no riflemen, just riflemen, no footmen, riflemen and mortar teams trying to take down these buildings. Anti-magic shell preventing much of that damage as the units are continuing to try and engage. Siphon mana there. There's like a little bit of dispel in the back line there. Holy Light continuing to save as the Blood Mage forced to use a Scroll of Town Portal to head back out. It looks as though one mortar team does end up getting taken down. That Scroll of Town Portal just a split second too late to whisk that unit away from danger. Paladin, 8 experience shy, could actually finish off. Yes, gets level 5 because of a skeletal minion. That's not what you wanted to see if you were LabyRinth, or if you were rooting for the human. That's exactly what you wanted to see. Those skeletal minions diving on in only to accidentally give an odd level. Level 3 Devotion Aura. It is going to be 9 additional, or it's going to be 6 additional armor across all of these, or 5 additional armor across all of these units here, as we see a quick Death Coil go down on that Blood Mage. So plus 15 armor on that Paladin, 48% damage reduction. More Siphon Mana trying to remove from that Lich. Lich has plus 26 damage on auto attack. Very, very big damage indeed with that Circlet of Nobility and that Claws of Attack plus 9. All right, Mortar team is trying to take down some of these units. Banshees could easily get taken down. There is some of that fragmentation shard damage adding up onto all of those units as they are trying to retreat back, but with no easy way to temporarily stun a unit. Well, the units have been able to just simply walk back without a problem. All right, Mountain King gonna take care of that there, as that third and final hero, Stormbolts, could be coming across, slowing down the Abominations, allowing them to get focused fire by all of those other remaining units. 2 upgrades with an additional plus 5 armor. The Rifleman with 35% damage reduction, greatly reducing the amount of damage they are taking and greatly increasing the effectiveness of all of those heals. Mountain King now trying to come across there. Stormbolt right there. Are we going to see a Holy Light to try and finish it off? Frost Nova onto the Paladin. Mortar teams instead just finishing off that bit of damage as the Mountain King, well, saves a low hit point Priest. More damage still racking back up. 68 supply compared to 76. Knight Undead having a big advantage here. Siphon Mana trying to break off of that Death Knight there, as we're still looking at the Paladin making its way back across. Abomination was about to get taken down. Still going to get taken down as the Mountain King has plenty of mana for more Stormbolts to try and finish off or take down any of these trailing units. Mountain King opts not to Stormbolt anything. Surprising situation, as we see a Scroll of Regeneration to recharge. Coming back down to the south here, Mortar teams, well, looking at a 73 supply compared to a 77 supply. Both sides are very even indeed. 3-2 upgrades for the Undead. Meanwhile, 2-2 upgrades for the human, with, well, the last and final upgrade, the imbued gunpowder upgrades for all of those Riflemen and Mortar teams. Meanwhile, the Priest still doing a bit of work, trying to perhaps constantly heal up all of those units. There is a bit of inner fire as well, so the Rifleman can get up to, what was that, 14 armor. 14 armor on a Rifleman, or perhaps that Paladin can get an additional 5 armor as well, up to 19 armor, greatly reducing the amount of damage he's taking. And, well, without any destroyers to try and devour magic, that could actually be a good call. Rifleman now trying to make its way back over, perhaps a Stormbolt to try and stun down a unit. No stun, stun straight up onto the Death Knight. Siphon Mana, however, that link was just broken at the last possible second. More Mortar teams trying to lob in damage, as the Mountain King still has plenty of mana for those Stormbolts. The damage on the Stormbolt not nearly as important as that temporary stun, as we are looking at a, well, skeletal minion getting taken down. Meanwhile, big fight in the center. Frost Nova, a lot of damage had. Paladin at, well, only 16 armor after that Orb of Corruption debuff, as both sides still fighting away. Paladin could have a lot of trouble taking and absorbing far too much damage, needs to get healed up. Holy Light trying to save up a Rifleman there, as we're looking at one Abomination getting taken down. Paladin still getting healed up rapidly. Holy Light, he's trying to hold this army together, as there is destroyers overhead trying to devour magic off all of these Riflemen here. Riflemen, however, with big armor and big damage, shooting their way through. 78 supply compared to 80, as the human player, Chaemiko, having a great opportunity here to try and punish the Undead. Chaemiko now trying to push in once more. Are we going to see? Yes, there goes one other unit. Plenty of low hit point units to try and pick off. A low hit point Banshee. Well, Death gets Death Coiled right there. Mountain King could easily get off a Stormbolt. Gets the Stormbolt off onto the Banshee. Banshee going to end up getting taken. Well, come on, one more shot. gets taken down right there. There was like 7 riflemen standing next to a stunned Banshee. He was just simply trying to wait for it to disappear. Meanwhile, LabyRinth saving 2 low hit point Crypt Fiends, not using a flare here to realize that there are burrowed Crypt Fiends ripe for the picking, and LabyRinth actually coming out of that fight in a much better scenario than was to be expected. It looked as though the battle was going for Chaemiko constantly, but he did not realize that there was 6 supply standing right beneath or sitting right beneath his feet. Easy pickings, and it would have given level 3 to that Blood Mage, or perhaps even level 2 to that Mountain King. All right, trying to finish things off. Scroll of Town Portal inbound for that Necropolis to try and protect. All right, all those units back home, and here we are. Paladin could be in a lot of trouble. Has a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Isn't going to use it. Down to 172 hit points. Is healed back up now as the Dark Ranger now trying to back away. Paladin also needs to stay constantly healed by those priests as the Blood Mage finally gets up to level 3. Level 2 Siphon Mana as the Mortar teams are just blasting away at all of the Banshees in that black back line. Mortar teams all taken down. Paladin now in a lot of trouble. Staff of Sanctuary sends him back home, but that means that the glue that was holding the army together is now in a lot of trouble. Blood Mage being forced to Scroll of Town Portal to minimize the losses, and well, at this point in the stage in the game, this fight could have been really poor for Chaemiko. He's able to come out of it only using a Scroll of Town Portal as his main loss, the Paladin being saved and no longer having that Potion of Lesser Invulnerability in the inventory. Dark Ranger and a Lich looking to finish things off here. That Lich dealing a massive amount of damage on the high end, up to 66 points of damage at level 3. So many claws of attack and that Orb of Corruption causing so many potential problems. All right, also, when that Lich gets up to level 4, you can believe that Dark Ritual will be that third and final ability, allowing that Lich to perhaps just machine gun Frost Novas as long as it has mana. Main bases, 2 minutes of mining left, a little bit more than 2 minutes of mining left. Meanwhile, expansions, well, both of them starting to run low on gold as well. Only 5 minutes of mining left here. The game may come down to who is able to, well, save more of their units, or perhaps LabyRinth will be able to fight evenly and then be able to unsummon certain buildings and still build up a large enough army. Coming back across here, we are looking at abominations for the front line. Crypt Fiends, there is 1 destroyer in the air. Perhaps a second one will be added as well to try and devour some of that precious inner fire on these riflemen. All right, no additional armor upgrades. We are now seeing Chaemiko go into high upkeep. He is still mining right now. Although in high upkeep, that is something a little bit dangerous. A lot of players stop mining on Echo Isle when they're in high upkeep, as that may come back to haunt him. Losing gold to taxes when it's not 100% necessary. All right, inner fire on those mortar teams as well. The priests still have plenty of mana to go, and we are going to be going into a fight. There is a shade keeping track here. LabyRinth now going into high upkeep as well, and here we are into that battle. Mountain King going to go ahead and engage. Siphon Mana. Paladin trying to keep a little bit of distance. Holy Light on the Mountain King. No, not in time. Mountain King falls. LabyRinth, and now taking down the Mountain King, can perhaps push a little bit more freely, not having to worry about those stuns. All right, more damage coming back across. Mortar teams trying to finish off some of those units. 84 supply compared to 87. Destroyer now in that backfield. Is it going to be able to devour more magic? No, it is not, as we are looking at so much damage across multiple units. Black arrows creating dark minions could cause problems, as well as they do deal significant damage against those riflemen and their medium armor. 78 supply compared to 77. Mortar teams unable to finish off that Banshee, but a Holy Light hits the target right there. Without the Mountain King to Stormbolt fleeing units, LabyRinth able to retreat and regroup without much fear. All right, Destroyers back up in the air. Death Knight now ready to lead the charge. Mountain King still out of this fight here. Siphon Mana away from that Death Knight. Death Knight now low on mana once more, being forced to retreat back. Does have some good survivability items, as the Paladin now looking to heal or be able to use more holy lights as well. All right, engagement could be getting underway. Paladin now looking to retreat back. There's more Siphon Mana, Death Coil, Frost Nova onto the Blood Mage. Blood Mage could have some bad times trying to retreat back. Mortar teams lobbing those, well, shards or those. I'll let that damage onto those units as they are trying to retreat back again. 90 supply compared to 77. LabyRinth just needs to hold on, trade efficiently, and all of that additional gold by not being in upkeep could be all of the difference, but he does have to deal with a larger army now. All right, massive rifleman continuing the fire. Abomination's trying to dive on in. It looks as though one Abomination easily going to get taken down, another Abomination going to get taken down, but without actually getting up into another level. There's a new level for the Blood Mage. We could be looking at Flame Strike finally. No, level 2 Banish to try and, well, get out of combat here, get to Holy Light, and now continuing to fight Staff of Sanctuary, saving more units. All right, Abomination down to 220 hit points. Could take a Holy Light and get taken down here. Not quite sure what's going on as more Abomination trying to save some more of those units again and again. All right, Abomination finally going to get taken down. Level 6 on the Paladin. Paladin does not have enough mana, but could go for a resurrection here if he siphons mana into the Paladin. Paladin up to level 6. Are we going to see a resurrection across all of these units? 79 supply compared to 52. Holy Light finishes off. There's a resurrection, and that is going to be the game. LabyRinth, with the higher unit score and the higher resource score, ends up losing the game to Chaemiko. Chaemiko, or what, Chaemiko? Chaemiko? Is it Chaemiko? I keep on saying Chaemiko, but I think it's Chaemiko. Chaemiko, I keep on making note that I'm going to remember, and I keep on forgetting. All right, Chaemiko, well, ultimately winning the game, showing why he's one of, if not the best human player currently. Resource score, you can see that he almost lost as much gold. The upkeep, remember, LabyRinth was in low upkeep longer and did eventually go into higher upkeep. Overall experience better for Chaemiko in the end, as he was able to take down a handful of heroes later on, and showing also that you don't need a very high level Mountain King to execute your strategy. By having just even level 1 Stormbolt available on the Mountain King, that level 1 Mountain King was still a big threat and was a force to be reckoned with. By stormbolting those Abominations and then allowing the Rifleman to finish up the job. That level 1 Mountain King, normally level 1 heroes can be ignored, still needed to be dealt with and becomes a big threat overall. Great game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below.